So after I think 1 year and 2 months, I have finished the Matt Smith era. Seems like a long time, but if you compare it to the David Tennant era, I kind of just flew through this. Though I think that's just because the David Tennant era had a lot more spin-offs than this one. So I was always like interrupting my watch through with spin-offs. But as some of you guys know, Matt Smith is probably my third favorite Doctor. Number one goes to Peter Capaldi, number two goes to John Pertwee, and number three would be Matt Smith. Um, So, being three on a list of 15 is pretty good. But I loved his Doctor, and I think he goes out in a bang here. I think the main issue with this episode, though, is that it's way too short. It's an hour. I think it could have easily been 90 minutes. I don't know if they didn't do that for budgetary reasons, or filming, or timing reasons. Um, but, either A, make the episode longer so you could fit everything you want to fit, or B, take some stuff out of the episode so you have more time to breathe. Maybe, they could have added some scenes with Clara's family, because I feel like the scenes themselves are good and funny and sad with her grandma. I think is one of the strongest scenes of the episode, but I just wish they're a little bit more fleshed out. Like if you look at Rose or Martha or Donna's families, they seemed a lot more fleshed out than Clara's are. And I know that's not like essential for companions. Classic Who didn't really care much about the family aspect. I don't know, I would have preferred that. Another problem I have, like things that could have been expanded on, is Tasa Lem. She is kind of introduced so quickly and so late into the game that we don't really care about her when she turns into a puppet. Dalek puppet, I mean. It just seems kind of like out of nowhere, and then like, oh, okay, she's back to normal, and now she lives for like 1,000 years. They don't really establish well enough who she is and why we should care about her. I think if we introduced her in like an earlier episode of the series, then we would care. Like, but her coming in at the very last episode kind of comes out of nowhere. But on the other hand, I do like how fast paced the second half of the episode is because we're seeing it mostly from Clara's perspective. Because every time the doctor sends her home and she goes back, he's like hundreds of years older, which is cool. Very sad because you see the passage of time all occur for Clara within the same day, and that's tragic. And the way the doctor stays to help the just a small town, um, it just exemplifies who this doctor or the doctor, any of the doctors are. Like Amy said in that one episode, um, you act all tough until you see like one child cry, and he can't turn away. That that's the 11th Doctor for me. Um, we had to work around the whole stipulation that a Time Lord can only regenerate 13 times or 12 times. Um, and the way they do it is by having Clara say, go to the crack in time, which we find out is the link to Gallifrey, and her saying, uh, please. So the Time Lord's like, okay, I guess we gotta go back the Doctor's the only one who could take us back to reality, so there you go. That kind of comes out of nowhere, but it leads to a very epic moment where the Matt Smith gives his huge, grandiose doctoral speech to the Daleks as he destroys them. Um, Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi are known for their very big, epic speeches, and having Matt Smith have one final, like, fuck you, Daleks, but PG, kind of harkens back to his full season finale when he was on the Pandorica's box. I, I don't know, he's known for his big, epic speeches. Rings Vacatin, this, and I love all of his lines, like, no one ever tells me the rules. It's so badass. I love him. And, of course, that leads to his final scene with Clara in the TARDIS, where he gives one of my favorite regeneration scenes just because of how sentimental it is and pure it seems. While David Tennant really struggled with regeneration, Matt Smith kind of gleefully accepts it. which I think shows the contrast between the 10th Doctor and the 11th Doctor in the personalities and stuff. Um, how he talks about changing, but you gotta remember who you used to be, and he'll always remember when the Doctor was him. One of my favorite last words for a Doctor, and he says it with such sincerity and a little twinkle in his eye. And of course, he sees Amy, the first face his face saw. It's such a beautiful scene. 10-year-old me was bawling. I can't remember if I was crying or not, but it was such a good scene. And then, bam, he sneezes into Capaldi, and he doesn't know how to fly the TARDIS anymore. He got new kidneys. He doesn't know how he feels about them. Um, Leads us into Series 8, my favorite Doctor. Um, and, you know, a whole lot of crazy shenanigans happen. But, Time of the Doctor, to keep things short, good episode, good send off from Matt Smith, satisfying conclusion. Way too rushed. Could have used an extra half hour to fill in the gaps a little bit. But especially the second half of the episode I really enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought of it. And I should get around to doing my Matt Smith tier list now, shouldn't I? So, ranking every episode of his era. What is your favorite episode of Matt Smith? Mine is probably still Vincent and the Doctor. My least favorite is probably still Victory of the Daleks. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys next time for the GOAT, Peter Capaldi. Until then, peace.